Hey, boppers. Hey boppers, how's it going? Welcome back. We're back after our break. We're back for a little while now. We're going to be working on our 4-week cycle. So to start that off, one of our new shows, Anthologasm, episode 1. Now this is one of the shows that we're doing in conjunction with the YouTube channel Pizza Flicks. All of the stuff that we are going to be watching, reviewing, talking about are going to be available from this particular channel. They have got thousands of hours of stuff for you to watch. Lots of pre-Hays Code stuff, lots of melodrama, noir, all of those kind of things, all of the stuff that we really, really like. We'll be doing the horror-y stuff and the more culty stuff in Groovin Movies, or GM Classic as we're going to call it, which is like it was before our little hiatus. So please do go over and subscribe on YouTube to Pizza Flicks, like Netflix but pizza instead of net, and you'll be able to watch everything that we talk about for free, and that way it won't be quite so abstract when you hear about what we're saying. So thank you ever so much for coming back. We've had so many people listen in the downtime, so keep letting people know about us. Can you dig it? Hey boppers, welcome back. We're back from our break. Emma and I are in another one of our Groovin towers.
Yeah, this is the third location of Groovin.
Yeah, this is where we...
Technically fourth.
The first one was Tom's car.
Technically fifth. No, I thought. It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know. The only thing you need to know is that there are 3 dogs present. So if there are any woofs, growls, meows.
And cats. There's also
There is a cat, yes. And she is a tart, so she might want to be on the podcast. But that's not important right now. What is important is Groovin Movies is back. We are back in our new format. So we are welcoming you to the first episode of Anthologasm, which is very exciting. This is one of the 3 shows in every 4 that are going to be in association with Pizza Flicks on YouTube. Go and subscribe to Pizza Flicks because you'll be able to find all of the shows that we talk about.
It's pretty great.
In the shows and films. They've got tons and tons of really cool old stuff, and they have a series which is actually out slightly before, although the same year but slightly earlier than The Twilight Zone, which is what we're talking about today, One Step Beyond.
Yes.
Which has very little to do with the Prince Buster and Madness record. But it does have a gentleman on it, John Newland, who does the sort of Rod Serling introductions and stuff. And so, as was the fashion at the time, finishes everything by saying, "One step beyond." And if you have similar music tastes to Emma and I, all you can hear is so that's fine at the end because you enjoy it, but when you're doing that you miss the opening bit of plot. It ran from, there's only 3 series, I think, One Step Beyond. Oh no,
which is kind of sad if that's...
It is sad, yeah. I think the Twilight Zone just wiped the floor with everything.
True.
Because One Step Beyond, as I think it was supposed to be true paranormal stories, wasn't it? That was its angle. So it's like all of these things happened. All of these are true human stories. So it's not like the Twilight Zone taking a man, a robot wife to have on the moon. Yeah. It's
legit.
It's
supposedly
legit spooky stuff. There's possessions and hauntings and premonitions and psychics and all of that kind of thing.
So
many things. The first episode, The Bride Possessed. Having spoken to some of our listeners, over our break. We're going to try and keep the sort of plot summary down to as little as possible,
Yep.
and then expand on that whilst discussing it, because we did tend to get lost in the earlier way we did it. So this basically, I'm taking this one sentence from Wikipedia. Spoiler alert: if you don't want to find out what happens in The Bride Possessed without watching it,
Yep.
go and watch it. It'll take about 26 minutes of your life.
It's pretty decent as well.
And it's pretty great,
so-
yeah. It's a bit like a sort of play, really, because there's not many locations, not many characters,
Yep.
but good performances by everybody. So, spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. On her honeymoon, a bride is possessed by a murdered woman who reveals her murderer and the murder weapon.
There we
Pretty-
go. It's
pretty-
pretty brutal.
Pretty tight surmise
Yeah.
of it all, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Covers it pretty well.
Yep. So for the first series, certainly, it might be true for all of them, directed and presented by John Newland. And this first episode was written by Merwin Gerard, or Gerard maybe, I think Gerard.
Yeah.
And he also created the series as well, so it was his
Oh,
angle.
sweet. Actually, weren't a few, or I might be getting this mixed up with the Veil, but weren't a few of the writers, didn't they go on Twilight Zone or something? Or there was
Very
a bit of a mix.
It's entirely possible. I don't know. There's a very good chance, though. The TV industry being probably a lot smaller in those days than it is now. But Merwin Gerard, he went on to do lots more stuff on telly. He created and wrote. He created and wrote a lot of stuff. He worked a lot. The one most interesting thing to me that he found was a show called Mrs. Columbo.
What? What now? That was amazing.
Mrs. Columbo or Madam Columbo.
Like Columbo.
Yeah, like my wife, she loves you.
Holy
she's
crap.
she's a big fan. Yeah. And do you know who played Mrs. Columbo?
No, I don't. Please shoot from the hip.
You'll have seen her in Orange Is the New Black
Okay.
and Star Trek.
Really?
Kate Mulgrew,
Holy crap. That is cool.
Captain Janeway,
That is
and
cool.
Red. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was quite young. I think it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
And
Let's
Merwin
see
Gerard is an important guy in TV, and John Newland, the Rod. Actually, let's be fair. First come, first served.
Yeah.
Rod Serling is the John Newland
Yes.
of the Twilight Zone. John Newland bookends the episodes
Yes.
with an introduction and an outroduction.
Yeah.
But what he does is he introduces it, and then it starts, and then he's in the episode. So he has 2 introductions, one sort of in the studio and one on the actual set of the show.
Yes.
Which is, and in this case, it's in a bar
Yeah.
where a Southern belle is being danced with by some removal men.
Quite a few removal men. One's very excitable.
One seems to think that he's married her.
Yeah. Like he chucks her on the table in a jovial fashion.
Yeah, and because they're still in their uniforms, and their workmate,
Yeah.
whose wedding day it is
Yeah.
just sort of there going, can you not?
Yeah. Just
You're being a bit
like,
forward with my wife there, guys.
give it a week, lads.
Yeah,
Come on.
and they're all going, she likes it. Look at her. And it's sort of a little unsettling with modern eyes, but it all seems
Yeah.
to be jovial, and she's having a lovely time dancing.
She's a merry sort.
Yeah, they put her favourite swinging number on the jukebox and
Yeah.
having a good time.
Dancing.
And then they decide that they're off. They go, okay, we've got to go. They're off somewhere for their honeymoon,
Yeah.
California. Still in California, but they're driving
Yeah.
a lovely car. I don't even know what kind it
Beautiful,
is, but
like-
it's a wonderful car. I think it's a ragtop convertible thing.
It's the kind of car that I check out, like people check out people as a piece of meat. That was a convoluted statement.
You objectify the car.
I objectify the car.
A car
much.
But a car is an object,
It
so
is.
that's not really.
So not in an object and sexual kind of way. Just
No.
But
Yeah.
that's
I've
okay.
lost. I'm not the only modern car I'm particularly interested in is basically the Batmobile. So
It's quite
it's
nice.
so
Quite nice.
so it's so yeah. I'm not a car guy, but old cars I like.
They are. They're a lovely old thing.
Aesthetically, I'm sure they're a pain in the arse to drive, but aesthetically, they look wonderful.
They're fun to go to car auctions and have a gander at.
Oh, sure.
Done that in the past. That's good.
And so he is. What was his name? What's the?
It's Billy or something. I don't know. It's not Billy. It's not. Oh, that's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's sort of.
I literally just watched this.
It's a shame. Yeah, it is. It's annoying, but you know, I can only remember the murderous ex-husband, Mr. Stapler.
Oh,
because
God,
of one point where someone says you lay on that old stapler charm. Well, there's nothing quite as charming as stationery.
Oh no.
Yeah, but so the husband and wife, the newlyweds, are driving up, and she falls asleep. Fine, she's been dancing with all of the men, and fine. So she's got her head on his shoulder.
It's all very romantic.
It is. It's lovely, and he's like, "Oh, that's nice." And they're driving along, and she wakes up. She says something about how, well, I just can't wait till I learn to drive. Yes, sirree. Yes, it is. Bless you.
It's gonna be the best in the world.
So she's like, she's Southern Belle, thick and fast. And talking about this, that, and the other. Well, I've never been this far north or west of wherever it is she's supposed to be from. Mississippi, I don't know. And I imagine the people of whichever state or region she's from are probably very upset by her accent. But it might be accurate for the time. But
maybe.
But she's sort of woken up. She's a bit blinky. She's a little newborn deer.
Ditzy, yeah.
And talking about it would be lovely to do all this, and they're looking forward to it. And then all of a sudden, she starts speaking with a more neutral American accent.
She's very husky.
Yeah, she suddenly goes, "Why don't you turn left?"
You know what? She reminds me a bit of Kathleen Turner.
Oh, yeah, she does. She's got... Actually, if you go for Romancing the Stone era Kathleen Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Man Made It... I'm just thinking of Serial Mum again, sorry.
You can think of Serial Mum.
I can think of Serial Mum.
It's got deadly weapons in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, we love deadly weapons.
We do. So much we won't make an episode about it. That's how much we love deadly weapons.
So yeah, she's like undergone this weird accent change, and he's kind of like, oh.
He doesn't clock it to begin with.
No,
she says, if you turn left here, it's a much prettier drive. And he's like, how do you know? And she goes, just do it. Yeah, basically.
It's my honeymoon request.
Yeah, well, if you insist, things could get kinkier from here on out. And drives
they got the car, aren't they?
They drive to they drive to a place called Eagle Point.
Yep.
And she stood there looking out at the sea, and he's stood there with her, and sort of going, oh well, this is a pretty
nice.
place. Yeah. What a nice idea. And then she suddenly just legs it, leaps into the car, and drives off expertly.
Yeah, which is like, wait a second, didn't you just what?
Yeah, it's like, this isn't. No, that's no good. And so that just cuts to a husband in a police car.
Yeah.
Being driven. Being driven. It's got dark by now. It's late, and they go past a house
and a dog.
They go past a dog that sounds like an unoiled hinge.
That's also been caught in the wind in a door.
It fades into the husband being driven along in a cop car, explaining the situation to a copper. Yeah,
who's a bit... So he's like, oh...
He's kind of baffled. He's like, so you did what? Yeah,
like, my wife has changed her voice and looks different. And
yeah, she started speaking differently and, and all this stuff. So, like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And he goes, oh, that's funny. The lights are on in the old this family place.
Yes, the old abandoned place.
So they go into this house and all the lights are on.
And there's like weird hands all over the walls.
Yeah, there's sort of, it's an artist. There's sort of a half-finished portrait of a bloke. And there's sort of porcelain hands and stuff on the wall. And
which could have been quite a good
and it was the Stapler residence. It was where the family, or where
Staples.
the Staple couple live. And it's where he starts talking about the the electricity's still on because there was a guy moved out, but this poor woman, she killed herself at Eagle Points, and she was a nasty affair we could only identify by dental records.
Which just goes to show you there's a lot of that was brutal.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. So this very violent suicide, apparently. So the police officer says all of these horrible details about how this young woman apparently committed suicide. And this is all too much for her to take. She's in the house, she's hiding.
She comes in, she starts screaming at him.
She's like, I was killed. He killed me.
That bastard killed me.
Like, that piece of shit. He killed me. Fuck you. And that's what she would have said.
Yeah, like
if this was a Netflix drama, she'd have definitely said all of that.
And she was screaming on the banister and everything.
She was beating on his chest with her fists and all of this stuff. And the cop was like, "This your wife?" Who the fuck? No, it's a separate mad woman.
Fine,
Sorry.
Just want to pick up off the street.
Yeah. I wish. My wife's really crazy. And they go off to and then it wakes up again, and she's my favourite character in this, possibly the psychiatrist, who is just looking out the window. That's how we meet him. He's
just
looking
wistful in the window.
He's looking out the window, going, "Oh, this is nice."
That's why I had CBTs like they just look out the window.
Yeah, that is what
it reprograms your entire life.
Yeah, that is it. It's like, right, you feel like you get into either a shame spiral or you start catastrophizing.
Yep.
Just look out the window.
Yeah, it's fine.
No
catastrophes there.
Yeah, no catastrophes in the outside world.
Maybe some cats.
Oh, and an ass trophy. You could be awarded an ass trophy. Yeah. That would make you feel good, wouldn't it?
I mean, if someone was mooning and they had a good backside in the area, just get out those trophies.
If someone was just like, you know how to select a gene, here's your ass trophy. That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be awesome.
So, ass trophies aside, the shrink is looking out the window, and the young husband comes in and goes, "What's wrong with her, Doc? Is she a crazy, a cuckoo, a quack, a wacko? What is she?" And he goes, "She's none of those specific terms that we use now in modern medicine." And he turns to quite a small bookshelf and goes, "Every single mental malady ever is listed in these books, and she's got nothing."
Like 5 books.
It's as libraries go, it isn't one.
It's the library that people have on, like, in the bus station. You put your books in.
I mean, I have more Discworld novels than he does medical textbooks. So
I have more medical textbooks than he does.
Yeah, but aren't yours all like Victorian ones that talk about humours and stuff?
Yeah, but then there's like pictures of old diseases from the past too that could still be prevalent.
I'm not maligning. I'm just saying they are. You don't keep up to date with the Lancet.
No, but I have read it on occasion.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there we go. Oh.
Yeah. But so he's going, I don't know. And she's and so she's in a bed.
Yeah.
Sort of being attended to by a nurse, and he walks in and he starts saying, "Oh, come on, why are you being a crazy?" She's like, "I'm not. I was murdered. And who are you?" And blah blah blah. And he's like, "Do you mind leaving? I need to get changed." And
but
he's
he
like,
stays.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
not really on.
I've interrupted.
No, but you're right. He does stay, which isn't great. But and then she brings up that she knows the psychiatrist.
Yeah.
She knows Alex. That's his name, I believe. Because she said, "You asked me to marry you 4 years ago at this particular dance and all of this." And he's like, "What?
Yep.
No,
Huh?
sharp." And so he's like, well, she's very accurate with all of these things.
Yeah.
And so then she says, can I call my mum? She'll believe me. And then she goes, all right, well, all right, call your mum then. Oh, and her mum's number is 5512.
Yes.
That's the extent of her mother's telephone number.
Yeah,
because
extension numbers in.
Because it was 1959 and 4 people had a telephone. So that's good for her. It was that early because in American shows and TVs they sort of go 555 and that's the sort of made up. That's like the made up number for all TV and stuff, so they don't accidentally give out someone's real phone number.
Yeah, no.
But it was that early they didn't even need to do that. It was just 55. It wasn't even 555. So that's pretty brilliant. And what's wonderful is her mum comes down the stairs and answers the phone, and it's before they have the other person's voice, so she's just listening, and was it Kate maybe or Karen?
Yeah, Kath or Kate or something.
Like
Kate.
that. And she's like, "Is that?" Oh, and then she turns up, and she's all excited, and this woman just falls on her. This woman, she just falls on her, and is just like, "Oh, mother, I'm so glad you're here."
Yes.
And then she's like,
hugging and squeezing.
"You are not my daughter.
No, forever be banished from daughterhood."
And then she's like, she collapses to the floor, the daughter, just grasping around the waist, screaming, "No, mother, no."
It's the
really,
angst is
really
hard,
upsetting.
actually,
And then in the next scene, the psychiatrist is giving her like a Valium or something and a glass of water. And she says, "I knew it was her the moment she hugged me." Like, then why did you shout, "You're not my daughter"? It's so weird. I didn't get that bit at all.
I have to admit, like, unless she's doing the thing where you're like, "Oh, I'm just going to imagine someone else right now."
Yeah.
Maybe my daughter.
Yeah, maybe she I knew it was her. All
From
the things
hug.
she said, from when she hugged me and all the things she said. But I still decided to
Running through her head.
upset a fragile... Were you doing tattoo?
Yes.
Oh.
This is my level right now.
You were doing Russian lesbian twins.
This isn't enough.
No. How could it be? Well, they find out, and then they find out that she's escaped in the middle of the night.
Yeah, like,
she's escaped an asylum, for want of a better word.
Wouldn't be such a bad thing had Dr. Alex not gone, "Oh, well, she's violent and keeps trying to escape."
Yeah.
Maybe put someone on bloody watch.
Oh, she's a tearaway.
Yeah.
Oh, she keeps wanting to leg it. So let's
get that going.
Yeah, let's get so she's doing that. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And so they go back to Eagle Point, and they find her just in time for her to uncover the shallowest ditch.
Yeah, so she's like thrusting herself at the ground.
Oh yeah,
she's
she's
basking in the soil and the dirt.
She is all over it. She's flinging it around.
Yep.
And it is about a centimetre below the level surface.
Yeah.
Is this very heavy statue?
Which you'd think that Dr. Alex would consider that people might bury a little bit.
Well, just the police in jail, but it was so to everyone it was so obviously a suicide.
Oh, yeah.
But she talks about how she was murdered at one point, and says I wouldn't give him a divorce because I loved him, and he punched me and was hitting me, and then I was hit with a heavy object, and he drove her to Eagle Point and threw her off.
Yeah.
To make it look like turned on that old Stapler charm.
Oh yeah.
We've all been charmed in Staples.
Don't even. Yes.
It's the main cruising ground as far as I'm aware.
The stationery is a hot topic.
Oh, absolutely. She's found this thing, and that must be the heavy object that was used, because he drove her to Eagle Point and flung her off to make it look like suicide, and then followed her down and buried the thing next to her.
Yep.
Fine. Ours is not a reason why. We've got 25 minutes to tell a story, including bookending it with a man with John Newland. So,
yeah.
Fine.
I realised that I got the murderer wrong, so apologies for that.
Oh.
I got confused. I'm sorry about that.
No, that's
Anyway.
all right. But so
Yeah.
she loved him, but he found out that the murdered wife, the spirit, she loved this man, but he found out that none of her father's money was in her name, sorry, so he didn't have access to it. So he wanted a divorce. She refused because she loved him.
Yeah.
So he punched and statued her to death.
Which is probably the second worst of the deaths that you could encounter.
It's up there as a bad one. It's a really bad one.
It's not great. And like the thing is as well, the statue, it was all right, but it wasn't that regal.
No, it wasn't great. It wasn't. It was no Clockwork Orange.
No, like if it was a statue
penis
of a
statue.
fist or a penis,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. See, Falco or Merlot agree.
Merlot agrees.
agrees.
But yeah, if it was a statue of a penis or a fist, then what do you expect it to be used for?
Exactly.
Whereas a statue of a man, I don't know.
Without even a head.
I think the head would come off. That was how.
Because the head punched into the.
That was.
There we go.
That was how bad it was. So.
Wow.
So we. So then, he's driving the psychiatrist and his statue.
Yep. To his minimal bookshelves.
Yeah. Back to his basic bookshelf bitch. You can tell we've not been drinking for this one because I managed to say basic bookshelf bitch.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, that's all right. And and so she is asleep again.
Except now she's woken.
Yeah. Except she's asleep. She's shattered after all that 4 seconds of digging she did.
Yeah.
Really took it out of her. She wakes up and then she goes, well, what on earth are we doing here? And then she turns around to see that she is sat between her husband, who she knows, and a bloke that she doesn't know holding a weird statue. And she's like, what's happening?
Huh?
The look on her face just screams, I did not sign up for this as a marriage.
No.
She's looking at these two blokes as if she's just fallen into some weird sex club, and he's holding this. Thank God he's not holding a fist or a penis.
I know, Jesus.
Because it's just, yes.
There is a moment where you're like, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This seems wrong.
Modern eyes make this seem a lot less sort of innocent.
Especially when her husband like turns around and he's kind of grinning in a weirdly sinister manner.
Yeah. He's like, hey,
you're back.
Well, he's delighted to have his wife back with all of her Southern Belle charm.
Mm-hmm. So she can go dancing with the guys.
Oh, yeah. He's going to take her right back to that bar, going to put a nickel in the jukebox and watch her dance with Joey.
Yeah, bloody Joey. Ugh.
And so he goes, the psychiatrist goes, okay, well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
The husband says, we got a little lost for a minute there, but we're back. And he goes, okay, then fine. And then the psychiatrist gets out and they drive. The young couple drive off, and he looks at the headless statue and just sort of smiles.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, that is a murder weapon you're holding in your hand. And then he just saunters off indoors, possibly to ignore his books and look out the window.
But then, which is all well and good, but where's the bloody police? What's the bit? It's like, you know what happened now? Whacking the psychiatrist.
Yeah, there's been a cop in it already. I don't know if he's going to get in touch and go, but I don't know whether fingerprints were big in 1959.
I don't know, they weren't. I mean, having said looking at the criminal justice system in America, at the best of times.
If I'm a fugitive from a chain gang, is anything to go by. But and then what's brilliant is the psychiatrist goes in through his door, that shuts, and then John Newland just saunters onto the screen and then says, there's a word for what just happened, a scientific word for what just happened. When the spirit of a dead person
takes over a live person,
it's called possession. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't, but it happened.
It's like, yeah. He's like, this has been peer reviewed and scientifically proven.
Oh, he says, yeah.
Yeah,
Many
it's like,
scientists believe it.
Like, how many, mate? Like,
yeah,
3.
Do they?
Yeah. Not many papers I've read, Blau.
Is this all those scientists who don't believe in man-made human, climate change? And
Is this
stuff?
like flat earthers? Is this what's happening? Not that if you do, fair enough. Shouldn't really tease.
Sure.
But also,
I mean, I'm all for not slagging off people, but flat Earth, come on, mate, seriously.
and there was a guy who like proved. I didn't read it properly, but apparently proved an experiment about flat Earth and actually turned out it was round, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Anyway, that's beside the point. Because we're talking about something that scientists do believe in, which is possession.
And
I believe John Newland.
I believe that Houdini did not disprove many things about possession and
absolutely. So there's that bit, and then it cuts to the end, and then Newland's back. Yeah. In the studio this time, giving another thing about we'll be back with you next week for One Step Beyond. And then madness starts nutty dancing behind him, and it's all a bit of a
because they were there then, and Suggs was all over this.
Yeah. They'd have been very little. I'm probably still living in Wales.
Is he Welsh?
He's from Wales. Yeah.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I wouldn't even thought.
Family moved London fairly young, but I believe he's Welsh.
Let's see. Sorry, that's good.
So that's some pop culture.
Yeah,
right there.
We have that every now and again.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Really liked it. I liked. It was a nice little, small, neat cast, like a lot of these anthologies are.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the lass as well. She
was
awesome.
the main lass. Yeah, playing the 2 roles. Really, really wonderful. I really liked Alex, the psychiatrist, or the psychologist as well. He, no matter how unimpressive his books might be,
he'll always have the window.
Mind you, 1959. I mean, we're still dealing with mainly sort of Freudian ideas here, aren't we? Which have all been disproven.
Yes.
Second,
luckily for many relationships of parent and children.
But it's weird. He was the first person to approach things with this particular analytical method. Yeah. He just came to all the wrong conclusions just because he liked his mum.
Yeah.
It's largely
it was just like, we're gonna make this a thing now.
Yeah.
Why not?
But yeah, I liked him. I liked very few locations, which is very, very cool. But then, these were all done on the cheap, so everything had to be done sort of quite neatly. And really great. But I'd say that was easily as good as an average episode of Twilight Zone, for example. And as you said earlier, you found out that that John Newland and Rod Serling were pretty cool with one another. They were. But
Rod Serling was like a total babe. I think I was reading his daughter saying like he was super kind and stuff. Anyway.
But and was a fan of stories as he made so many of them. So so One Step Beyond, sort of the angle is that these are all real stories. These are all
scientifically real.
Or not, well...
I know, they're anecdotal and things,
But they're all supposed to be things that definitely happened.
If it was like... Yeah. It's like the UK's, like the American version of Strange But True. Well, Strange But True is like our UK's equivalent of... Yeah. To it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is very cool.
Maybe 2 other anthology series on Pizza Flicks. One called The Veil. Is that
Boris Karloff? Isn't
Boris Karloff, which
is cool.
Yeah, as the he's the John Newland Rod Serling guy.
Doesn't he because he's got a right old cracking moustache? Doesn't he read from a book as well or something? He's very. There's a kind of a weird kind of Vincent Price feel to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Yeah, it's it looks very promising as well. And
have you seen Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So anyway.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, every so often, once in a generation, like Buffy, an anthology series arises. So at the moment where, Black Mirror, most obvious.
Yeah. Inside Number 9.
That's an anthology series. I always forget about that one. Yes, but it's great. It's if you got Netflix rather than Pizza Flicks, Inside Number 9
definitely
is great. That's sort of a horror.
Spooky one. So good.
It's all fiction. It's wonderful. If you enjoy The League of Gentlemen, it's 2 of The League of Gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's 4 series of it on Netflix now, certainly in the UK. But yeah, very, very well worth it. This one, not so much a twist. This one was just straight up a story that gets revealed as it goes along.
Yeah.
The nearest thing you got to a twist was that the dead woman had been proposed to by the psychiatrist.
Yeah, because even he was a bit like, "Oh crap!
Yeah, shut up! You are being weird.
This is not real."
Yeah. So that's a definite recommendation. I'm looking forward to watching more One Step Beyond, because I've seen quite a lot of Twilight Zone, but I've not seen. I've seen this episode and one other one. I think just idly selected it one day because I was going through Pizza Flicks's huge back catalogue.
So much.
There's so much stuff in there. Seriously, just pick one and watch it. A lot of them are like an hour long.
Oh yeah, I was going to say I just watched a few Bondage of it. It was very good.
Oh yeah, cool.
Bit of Bette Davis.
Yeah, wonderful. These episodes are going to be shorter because obviously we're only talking about little episodes. And once I've edited out all the dogs barking, it'll be a lot easier. So if you've got anything you'd like to say to us, you can email us groovinmovies@gmail.com. For everything else, you can just go to www.groovinmovies.com. You can go to co-fi.com/Groovin Movies if you want to buy us a coffee or whatever. We promise to put the first £120 or so that we receive into the Torchy Blaine DVD box set, so we can do an extra series all on that, because Glenda Farrell is our gal, and we want to watch more of her being the character that inspired Lois Lane.
She's so sassy.
She is. She's got some tight blonde curls and a cloche cap
and a modern attitude.
Oh yeah. How's your sex life? So yeah, that's hashtag how's your sex life? So that's what we're hoping for. But at Groovin Movies on Insta and Twitter, and you can join us in the Groovin Movies Bopper Clubhouse on Facebook, where we update stuff and things like that. So
and it actually exists. I'm surprised.
Did you think I was making it up?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we had a thing, a page, and then this I went off it for ages, so I didn't know.
Oh yeah, you were off Facebook for a while. I went for the page, and then I thought I'm going to make the group as well, because that's a hangout place.
It is. You see a few little cheeky things there. Mm-hmm. Not cocktails, but
Yeah.
All sorts.
It's all good. Enjoy. This is the first episode of Anthologasm, and we'll be back with more. So can you dig it? Take care, guys. I've been Eddie French, and I've been here with Emma Tidswell.
Ta-ra.
See you now. Groovin Movies featured Tom King, Eddie French, and Emma Tidswell, and is part of the Discount Comedy Checkout Network. For more information, go to www.comedycheckout.com. Thanks for listening.